What's up, guys? Here we are, ready to rock and roll on a quarterfinal Friday night. Welcome into our Friday night scoreboard show. It's the Friday night edition of Extra Point Scoreboard Show Wise. Thanks so much for being with me. And, man, we got some good games to talk about that has been going on tonight. Wow, Nadir Muse Muhammad, first one in tonight. Unbelievable what's happening between Carrollton and Grayson, guys. Wow, I didn't see this one coming, I'll be honest with you. Grayson, the number one ranked team in the country, is on the verge of not just getting upset, but getting upset in a big way. They are down 31-14 to Carrollton. What a major win this is going to be for Carrollton. Is going to get them, here we go, going to get them another step closer to trying to win that elusive state championship for Joey King. That is a big, big, big win. Grayson hadn't lost in I don't know how long. And that game has got to be, what, guys, midway through the fourth quarter, 31-14. I don't know. I was watching a little bit of it earlier on GPB, and Carrollton just seemed to really have the upper hand in that one. So it looks like Carrollton could be pulling the upset of the night. All right, Montegas Map. Shout out to Lincoln County with a huge win over Brooks County. I know they were winning big over Brooks. Looks like, so has that gone final, Montegas? Matthew Dunn, some wild games tonight. Boy, you're not kidding. Kale up 41-7 over Cartersville. There's one. By the way, guys, if you're new to the show, we do this every Friday night from 10 to midnight. And, man, this is what we do. We're going to run down all the quarterfinal matchups. As you guys know, we have been tracking, as a lot of the other media outlets in the state have been tracking this Gainesville-Hughes situation since it all started on Monday. I mean, I even spent my Thanksgiving holiday, and it's really been, you've been having to keep up with this thing minute by minute. I mean, on Wednesday, I started one story 3 different times and had to change it. That was the day we had all the back and forth. But anyway, we'll talk about that as we go forward. Matthew Dunn, wild games tonight. Got to love Georgia high school football and Thanksgiving, you're right. Alan Lott says, Grayson's getting punched in the mouth. Boy, isn't that the truth? Alan, if you're new to the show, man, that's what we do. Just comment. I'm going to try to read everybody's comment as it comes in. Now, we'll get to rocking and rolling tonight, and it'll be tough for me to keep up with everybody's comment, but I'll do the best I can because we got a lot to talk about. Alan Martin, let's go Thomas County Central Yellow Jackets. Matthew Dunn is asking, did Fitzgerald lose 39-38? I don't know. Somebody update Matthew Dunn on Fitzgerald. All right, let me see here. Fitzgerald, Heard County, that thing was close, nip, tuck. I think Heard County had a big lead. Fitzgerald came back. So somebody update Matthew Dunn on Fitzgerald, Heard County, 39-38. Matthew Dunn, Valdosta, 38-21. Yeah, that thing was close for a little while. I was over there earlier just getting some footage, mainly in the pregame, and I stuck around for the first Valdosta drive, and then I got out of there and left it up to our videographer, who is probably still there. Roger Elam, let's go, Lincoln County Red Devils. Alan Clanton, Marist 23 North. Are you kidding me? Wow, that game was 20-20. Marist North Oconee, Alan Clanton, who's been giving me updates all night long, tells me that Marist has upset North Oconee. Guys, wow. Holy moly. What an upset, guys. North Oconee had not lost in 2 years. Well, they have now. That is a major, major win for Alan Chadwick, who I think is the longest tenured head football coach in Georgia, head coach at Marist. I think he's been there like 30 years. Wow, man, what a win for Marist, guys. That's huge. All right, look at these games, guys. Look at this. 23-20 Marist. Burke, 41-40 over Rockmart. Clinch, 27-22. Worth County prevailed. That thing was tight, but Worth County and Jeff Hammond going to get the win tonight, 17-7. So 2 of my coaches' shows still are alive. That's Jeff Hammond, Worth County, and my man Jonathan J.T. Thompson might be the coach of the year. His Roswell Hornets get it done tonight over Sequoia. Big win. Wade Turner, hey, who won the Beaufort-Douglas County game? That thing was tight for a while, Wade, but Beaufort was up 23-7. I'm probably sure they have won unless there was a major comeback. Randy Rashad Fuller talked about Sumner over Carver. Yeah, Carver, Atlanta. That's a huge, huge win for Coach. Who is it at Sumter? Will help me out, guys. Rogers, Coach Rogers. Is that his name? Anyway, big win. I can't remember his name. Big win for Sumter over Carver, Atlanta. Now the other Carver Columbus. Not even close. Last time I checked, they were walloping Thompson. So, huge. Thompson, Alan Clanton says Thompson 24-6 over Northeast Macon. 34-14. Allen Lott, is that Carrollton game gone final? I'm sure it's probably getting close. That is the upset of the night. The upset of the century. Grayson was the number 1 ranked team in the United States of America. They have been looking unbeatable except for tonight. They go down to Carrollton. How big is that for Carrollton? By the way, with Buford supposedly winning, Valdosta winning, that's going to set up Buford and Valdosta in Valdosta next Friday night. Boy, you don't think the whole world's going to be watching that one? I mean, those are your 2 blue bloods, you know, Valdosta for the days gone by glory, and they're not doing bad this year. And then you've got Buford, who, of course, is everybody's darling. And instead of it being at Buford, it's going to be at Valdosta. So that's going to be one to watch. How about that, guys? You cannot beat Georgia high school football. Somebody just said it a while ago. You cannot beat Georgia high school football ever, but especially Thanksgiving week quarterfinals. Alan Clanton does confirm Heard County wins 39-38 over Fitzgerald on a last-second field goal. Man, it's the thrill of victory and the agony of those feet. The agony of your feet. I get crazy as it goes on. Michael Lee Barker says, Phil, tell them to put some respect on the Pepperell Dragons football team. Named Big 34-0 shout out in 1AD1. Yeah, somebody gave us some grief today on the website. We didn't spell Pepperell right, but hey, you know what? Let's spell Pepperell W-I-N, baby. Okay, so I was sweating this one a little bit. Now I can exhale. My man Eric Godfrey and North Gwinnett win 25-15 over West Forsyth. Man, they were sweating that one tonight, but that's a big win for Eric Godfrey, North Gwinnett Bulldogs. They'll move on to the semifinals. LaGrange over Stevenson. Alan Clanton is the man with the plan tonight. LaGrange 24-7 over Stevenson. Nadir Muhammad. Valdosta up on Walton 38-21. Like I said, I was at that game earlier. Valdosta took the opening kick, drove it down. It was like knife through hot butter. I was surprised actually that Walton came back in that game. Had a chance, though, to talk with head coach Daniel Bruner. Got my picture taken with him. He and I have talked forever. You know, there's a lot of these coaches that I talk with all the time. And, guys, as I'm walking up to the Walton sideline, I've got my ITG Next Press Pass on. And the Walton assistant coaches, while I'm waiting on Daniel Bruner, head coach, they see my press pass, and they come over to me, and they're like, hey, man, Phil, we watch your show all the time. It's like, I guess when they get through the game, with the games on Friday night up there at Walton, they watch the game. That is such an honor, guys, for these assistant coaches who come up and say they watch the show. So that was very cool. Great bunch of people. By the way, the biggest sideline setup, you know how all the teams set up the tents with the TVs, the electronics, the meeting groups, and the medical tent? Walton had theirs stretched from one end to the other. I took a picture of it. I'll share it on our Facebook page. Biggest thing I've ever seen, ever. All right, let's get back to it. West Lawrence over Jenkins, 21-16. More low scoring than I thought. Alan Clinton tells us Sandy Creek 34-0 over Douglas Astros. Hank Edwards 52-16 Lincoln over Brooks. Man, ouch. Rome beats Jackson County. Wow. Good for you, John Reed. Rome, big win. 31-17 over Jackson, Reverend Jackson County. All right, so who's going to play who now in that 5A? Oh, this just in. Gainesville and Hughes is nothing. You thought I was going to come up with something, didn't you? Nah. Ain't going to happen. Guys, that game's probably, look, there's no telling when that game's going to be played. I'm telling you, it's a mess. It's not going to be tomorrow. It may not be Monday. I mean, and let's take just a second. All you guys have been keeping up with Gainesville Hughes, right? So what a mess you've got. GHSA postponed the game tonight. So now not only are you looking at having to affect one game, but you're going to now affect all those semifinals. I don't know what's going to happen. Something's going to happen because you're going to have to play 2 games in 1 week. How about that for a playoff? Now, the saving grace, and I talked about this. We got a story on our website that I wrote this today. The saving grace is that I think you got 10 days between the semifinal and the state championship, the Class 5A state championship. So there's going to be some time there where 2 teams, say it's Gainesville and or Hughes, whoever, may not have to play 2 games in a week. So we're going to keep an eye on that. But everybody's keeping an eye on Gainesville-Hughes situation. No game tonight. That game was postponed, as you guys know. Stephen Tate, what's up, brother? Stephen Tate checking in with us, Coffee County's #1 fan. Ebony Moore, Worth County 17-7 over Gordon Lee. So I've got Worth County head coach's show still alive. Roswell coach's show. Roswell wins. Benedictine might score 100 for this one's over. Well, I didn't see that coming, guys. Now, Creekside, I expect Creekside to score 100. And how much have they got? Come on, man. What are you doing? Is your goal to score 90, 100 points over everybody? I'm not talking about Benedictine. I'm talking about Creekside. I don't like that. I don't like it. Don't like it. Anyway. All right, Rosser Sutherland, what's up? Marietta's #1 fan. Hello from Marietta. Just got home after spending all day in downtown. Bless your heart. So did you go to the Georgia game? But that place is crazy, wasn't it? Shocked to see Grayson getting blown out. Me and you too, buddy. Me and you too. Tremont Hollins checking in. Says Jefferson. Oh, so what's up with that? Jefferson and Cairo. Did Jefferson win? Hebron is up. Hebron Christian up 63-20 over Prince Avenue in the private semifinals. Or is it quarterfinals? Is private on quarterfinals as well? I guess they are, right? Michael E. Barker. Rome is waiting. Oh, that's right. They are. Forgot about that, Mike. You're absolutely right. By the way, Thomas County Central, I think they had a pretty easy time. It was a little bit tight with Woodward Academy. Somebody actually had predicted Woodward Academy to win. Not me, but somebody. All right, Hayfield Charter defeats Morgan County 34-22. Alan Clinton giving us the final on that one. Andrew Watkins says Worth County survived and move on to the Final Four. I've got Worth County winning it all. By the way, we have made picks all the way through the finals. Just a little fun graphic that we've done. If you guys get a chance, take a look at it. We went ahead and made all the picks. On Monday, by the way, Cole Moore, TCC 49-19. 49-19 over Woodward Academy. Central went on a 42 run to end the game. Yeah, I thought that thing was pretty close there for a while. Mike Sorensen checking in and confirms the earlier score. Heard County 39-38 over Fitzgerald. Boy, that is a heartbreaker for the Purple Hurricanes. James Raymer tells us that Clint scores late to beat Wheeler County 27-22. What some games we had tonight, guys. Look at these scores, man. Are y'all kidding me? Carrollton defeats Grayson. Beats them bad. That game was not. I watched a little bit of that game. They were. You can just tell, can't you? You can get a feel for games. And I was watching a little bit. I watched about 5 minutes of it, and I was like, that's when my dude, the corner for Carrollton, almost picked six. Took it to the house. Y'all remember that one earlier? I was like, yeah, it's over, man. Let's get me get out of here. Creekside up 35-7. No, they got more than that, brother. Don't they, Nadir? Nadir Muse Muhammad. Is that all they got? 35? 35-7 over Lithonia? My gosh. That's almost like 6 points for them. Jefferson up 47-20 over Cairo. Boy, what a great run, though, it has been for the Cairo Circle Makers and Coach David Coleman. Won the region this year, defeated Peach County. Great job, Cairo. But it looks like tonight that magic carpet ride is going to come to an end for the Syrup Makers as they'll make the long bus ride back from Jefferson. Kelly Fountain. What's up, Kelly? Good news for your Rome Wolves tonight. Andrew Watkins. Valdosta survives and moves on to the semifinals. Yep, they're going to host Buford next week. Boy, you don't think all the eyes in the world are going to be on that game, right? Did Hurd win? Yeah, yes, they did. They won by wait a minute. Yeah, Hurd won by a point. I think it was 39-38, Kelly, over Fitzgerald. David Lee Roth. Let's go, Yellow Jackets. What's up, Mr. Phone? I know what you mean. What's up, Mr. Roth? Not much, buddy. Chris Gilpatrick. Cartersville forgot to get off the bus. Wow. That's another shocker. Not that they lost necessarily, but the way they lost to Cale. And guys, remember, Cale was one of the 5 teams I picked in the preseason to watch for. I was a little worried when Cale got blown out by Lowndes. But, man, they put that loss behind them, hadn't they? And here comes Cale, Bobby May, and the Cale Longhorns. Boom, I love it. Donnie Jarvis wants to know the Valdosta score. Somebody gave us that Valdosta score earlier. Can somebody repeat the Valdosta score for Donnie Jarvis? Creekside in 15, says Rodney Sinkfield. Rosser Sutherland looks like Buford will be heading to Valdosta next week. Yes, they will. Man, it was cold, so cold out there tonight. I stayed out there for about I made it about the first drive of the first quarter, and then I left. Lincoln County 52, Brooks 16, says Shannon Zellers. Thank you so much, Shannon, for that. Nadir Muse Muhammad, Benedictine hits 80. Sounds like a basketball score. In fact, if that was not a football score, I'd be thinking that we're talking boys basketball. But no, it's the Cadets. Guys, they've got a history of doing this in the playoffs. Do you guys remember when Benedictine beat like Thomas County Central like 70, I don't know what it was. It was about 56-0 or something. That was a while back. It was before Coach Roger. But anyway, so they've got a history of doing this, does Benedictine. Man, Danny Britt, one of the best coaches in the world. I love the guy. That is quite the program. I'll tell you a little something. I don't know if you guys know this. So about a year ago, in fact, it was a little over a year ago, we were the ITG Next Game of the Week that we have done for the last 5 years on Friday nights, except for this year. Yours truly on the call. We drive all over the state, and we did the Benedictine Perry game last year at Savannah's Memorial Stadium. And after the game, which Benedictine lost, they didn't go to the locker room. You know, they're a military school. So what do you think they had to do after the game that they lost? They ran. They had to run gassers. Now, I don't know if they do that every game or every time they lose, but they did that game. I sat there and watched them. I felt for them. Yep. Benedictine boys had to run. Had to run the bad choice of words, but they call it the suicides, the gassers, where you go from the goal line to the 20, back to the goal line, go to the 30, go to back. I mean, you know, we've all done it. They played football. It'll kill you, man. But anyway, Benedictine had to do that last year after they lost. So I don't know if they do that. Hey, that's a good incentive not to lose, right? All right, let's go back to it. Does Cale stand a chance versus Creekside? Asked Rodney Sinkfield. No. Jalen Ward says Carver Columbus is the best football team in the state. I'm not going to argue that. I've been saying that all year. I think they can play with anybody in this state. I have said that all season long. They will win more than likely the 2A state championship. I just don't know who's going to give them a run. Armand Rashad, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Yes, buddy, I did, man. I hope you did too. Hope you did too, buddy. Thank you for asking. That's very kind. Sumter beats Carver Atlanta 39-20. What a job is it Will Rogers, the coach at Sumter? What a job he has done. Do you guys realize when he took that job over a few years ago, they were terrible. They were awful. I mean, 0-10, 1-9. They were awful. That's one of the best turnaround jobs in the state. Great job. My man Evan Reese, who was giving me updates from Ray Manna Stadium, tells me Roswell wins. Didn't play our best game, but we are off to TCC next week. Wow, that brings back some memories there, doesn't it? You guys remember last time, I think it's last time Roswell went to TCC, they upset Thomas County Central. I think that was Justin Rogers' first season. You guys remember that? That was a shocker. By the way, I'll host the Roswell Coaches Show with Coach Thompson this Tuesday. Going to be really interesting to see what he's got to say about tonight's win over Sequoia and what he's going to have to say about the game plan against Thomas County Central. You guys don't want to miss that. I'm also going to host the Jeff Hammond Coaches Show, the Worth County Coaches Show. Those are the two coaches of the 6 we've been doing all year that are still left. So you guys don't want to miss these coaches shows. They're going to be a lot of fun this week. Hebron Christian is indeed becoming the next Eagles Landing Christian Academy. Well, it's kind of interesting. You know, Jonathan Guess was there. He's the one that won the state championship last year at Hebron. Now he's gone on up to South Carolina. Team had an okay year this year. I think, was this, all right, now let me see if I got this right. So Jonathan Guess, was this his first year up in South Carolina? Was it last year that he led Hebron Christian to the state championship? But, you know, he turned that program around. That's the guy, by the way, Jonathan Guess, if you don't remember. He's the guy that created the monster that was ELCA. You guys remember saying that? I think they are second to the number of consecutive state championships ELCA is, and I'm trying to remember who they're behind. Somebody help me out with that. But when Jonathan Guess left ELCA, Eagles Landing Christian Academy, they bottomed out. But he goes to Hebron Christian, builds them up into what they are now. But you know what I thought you were going to say, Nadir Muse Muhammad, I thought you were going to say that Hebron Christian was going to become the new Prince Avenue Christian. By the way, ever since my man Greg, what was his name, head coach at Prince Avenue Christian, you know, he leaves, and yeah, just amazing. And I talked about it a lot. When these coaches leave, you know, things tend to happen to these programs. You're watching the Friday night edition of Extra Point, our scoreboard show. We come to you live here from Valdosta, Georgia, but we cover the state. We are the statewide company when it comes to high school sports, and we appreciate all you guys checking out the show tonight. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. Hope you're enjoying some time with your family. Hope you went to a great game tonight or watched or listened to a great game tonight. Man, we've got a lot of great games to talk about right here. So sit back, relax, jump in here with us, whatever you want to do. Would love for you to let me know. If you're watching, you don't have to comment. Just as long as you're watching, let me know where you're watching the show from. And but we'd love to hear you comment. I'm trying to read everybody's comment that I can. James Raymer, Early County over Scriven, 27-20. That is a huge win for Early County. That's big time. All right, let me see here. Nancy Sullivan Burrell. What's going on, Nancy? Worth County wins 17-7. That's a big win for Worth County. I think Worth County, and we predicted this in our. If you guys will take a look at our graphics, we've done some graphics today where we basically picked who we think is going to win the state. We think Worth County is going to win the state. I do, and so they are on their way. I just don't think anybody. I thought last week's game. I know some people had picked. Who was it? Brantley? No, who was it? Was it Bleckley County? The Royals, right? There were some people that were saying, yeah, they're going to upset Worth. No, they wasn't. No, they're not. All right. Rosser Sutherland says, some new outlets were in Atlanta saying some outside lawyers say the Gainesville appeal could possibly not be resolved for at least a month. Yeah, I saw that. Luke Nelson, what's up, Big Buford? Big Buford is in the house. Save my spot in Valdosta. Don't worry, buddy. I sent video today to Kerry Claiborne, Luke. And I'll send you the same thing. Look, this is no knock on Valdosta. okay, they're having a great season. But it is a huge stadium, and it takes a lot of people to fill that baby up. The only time it gets full is in Wintersville, the Wintersville Classic. So, Luke, you will have all the seats you want, brother, but I will save you one. I will, but you won't need it. You'll have your choice, man. You'll have your choice of seats, I promise you. I love it. But, Luke, man, I saw you had a great picture online of you and your family. Like y'all had a great time with Thanksgiving, man, and that's good to see, buddy. There's Kerry Claiborne, speaking of the devil. Kerry, tell him, man. I sent Kerry a picture. Maybe like 300 people 5 minutes before kickoff over at Valdosta. Obadiah Fawley has made it into the house. What's up, Obadiah? TCC checking in, final score 49-19, TCC on top. Who was the guy that predicted Thomas County Central was going to lose? Somebody actually went online and predicted that. Oh, by the way, let me see what I got. All right, so the final score was 49-19. Let's see what Phil's pick six said. Oh, look at there. Phil said 48-14. And it was 49-19. That's pretty close. I'll take that. By the way, another one I was pretty close on. I predicted Roswell to win 42-35. They won 40-31. So I'm pretty close on a couple of games. Now, there were some I weren't that close on. Let's see. Valdosta. What was the final score on Valdosta again? I had predicted Valdosta 45-14. What was that final score on Valdosta? All right, Lincoln County wins. Sebastian Davis, go Cats, go. Yes, big win for Valdosta. Boy, y'all don't think that Valdosta-Buford game is going to be something next week? There will be a lot of people. There'll be a good turnout for that. I was just kidding earlier. Lincoln County over Brooks, 52-16, big win. What's the final on... Okay, so North Gwinnett does win. Larry Godwin is in the house. Larry, I hope Larry and I are going to be on Monday's show. Larry's going to have to run the ship for me. Larry says, will Buford exercise their right to have half the stadium in the playoffs? North Gwinnett did that to us several years ago and wouldn't release the tickets so they couldn't be sold to Lowndes fans. Really? Larry, I'd be honest with you, Larry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Valdosta, it's a hard thing for them to fill up that side, man. And again, I know tonight was not Valdosta-Buford. I get it. And I think it'll be a good crowd, but that Valdosta side is huge. And, so I don't think they're going to have that problem, Larry. That's just my opinion. Azaleas Ferguson, what you say about Brooks County? Well, not much to say. They got beat. Greg Maddox, Kerry Claiborne, if you come next week, I'm going to sit right behind you with cowbells. Man, I hope to see some good friends from Buford. I see Kerry. I hope to see Big Buford, Luke Nelson. I'll go down and speak to Brian Appling before the game. And, by the way, went down and talked to Daniel Bruner, head coach of Walton tonight. Great guy. I love that guy. By the way, I found something out tonight, too. I told you about some of the Woodward or the Walton coaches that watched the show here on Friday night. I was shocked. I loved it. But they also saw my pick six. Now, that's kind of embarrassing when you're hanging out with somebody on their sideline and they say, oh, by the way, about that prediction. Of course, I picked Valdosta to win big. And, what do you say in a situation like that? I'm like, Coach, just go put it up in the locker room, bulletin board material. Most coaches, they have listen, the only team that really has a problem when I pick them to lose is Valdosta, and I don't know why. I pick everybody to lose every now and then. It happens. It's nothing personal. Yeah. Now, I got to be honest with you. I don't know what I'm going to pick yet on Valdosta-Buford. I think Buford is the better team. I'll admit that, but Valdosta's playing really well right now. Now, they also have had a pretty easy draw to the victor of the spoils, and again, to the region champs from 1-6A go a pretty easy draw. But it won't be easy next week, but having Buford at home, I think, makes a tremendous difference in that game. I think it's at least a touchdown difference, maybe more, for Valdosta. I think that may be a 10-point swing, to be honest with you guys. Now, I'm not saying it guarantees a Valdosta victory. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that game makes it at least a touchdown difference being at Valdosta. That's usually what a home field advantage will give you, right? All right, Azaleas Ferguson. You said Brooks was going to state. Well, yeah, I say a lot of things. What's your point? Luke Nelson, I'll be there. Can't wait. Yeah, can't wait to see you, buddy. James Raymer, Valdosta 38-20 over Walton with 5:32 left in the game. Okay, so it's not over yet, but it will be. A little bit closer than I would have imagined. But again, I was there earlier. Valdosta got out to a 7-0 lead. They took the opening kick, went right down the field on Walton, didn't have any problem. And so you just kind of get these feelings in some of these games. They may be a little closer than what you think, but I just never sensed that Valdosta was really going to have a problem. But you know what? Congratulations to Walton. You know, they were the number 4 seed, so there's something to be said for that. And of course, they got the big win over McEachern, which, by the way, the guys give me a pretty good grief about that. Because, you know, I was pretty disappointed in McEachern. And they understand, though. You know, they understand, man, I started doing these coaches shows, and you get tight with these guys. All right, Darius Kirksey. It's a shame that the best case scenario for Langston is that we play our quarterfinal game the week everyone else is playing the semis. You are right, sir. You are right. And, guys, I don't think there's any end in sight to this Langston Hughes-Gainesville situation. I think the GHSA is set in and they're ready to dig their heels in. I may be wrong, but you know there are reports that this thing with Gainesville and Langston Hughes is not going to be settled for a while. So everybody that's talking about maybe a Monday game, I doubt that. I really do. I don't think that's going to happen, guys. I don't know what's going to happen. This is a precedent for sure. And I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you guys something. I don't know how many of you remember this, but before Dr. Robin Hines, okay, Tim Scott is the executive director now. Before Tim Scott, Robin Hines has been the executive director of the GHSA for about the last decade or so. But when Dr. Hines did a good job, I really think he did. As the executive director, I think he ran a good ship at GHSA. Now, before Dr. Hines, you had Gary Phillips, who was the executive director. And there were a lot of things happened under Phillips that kind of remind you what's happening now. And it drew the ire of the Georgia legislature. Well, I don't know if you've heard, but there's a couple of senators who have come out and have spoken out against the GHSA, and they basically said, hey, if you don't get this act together, we're going to take it over. We'll become the governing body for Georgia high school student athletes. So they threatened it once, and when they did, that's when the GHSA made an abrupt change. They brought in Dr. Robin Hines. They completely changed and cleaned their act up, and they never had that problem again. You can say what you want to about politics, but, you know, when you start making these legislators mad, you know, they have the power. They can take that over if they want to. It's not a problem. So it's going to be real interesting to see how GHSA and Dr. Scott respond to this situation. Something to really keep your eye on. It's a shame that we're talking about it instead of scores, so let's get back to talking about scores. What do you say? All right, James Raymer. Valdosta has one play, 77-yard run up. All right, let me start over. Valdosta has one play, 77-yard run to go up 45-28. Yeah, that's going to do it. Not there was really any doubt about it to begin with, but yeah, Valdosta just kind of puts the nail in the coffin, so to speak. Kerry Claiborne, I would expect you to be there next week. Bring me those bull peanuts, Kerry, that you stiffed me on last time I was up there. I'm just playing with you, man. I'm just playing. But do bring me something from Buford. I don't know. Bring me something. All right, congrats on the big win, Burke County. Now it's time to find the belt. Carver Columbus in the house. Oh, no, you don't want to go there, bro. Jimmy Cash, 24-25. No. Don't start threatening Carver Columbus. That is not, that's not something you want to do, man. I'm just telling you. Dave Pollard says big Lincoln shootout in East Georgia. Yeah, that's a great win for Lincoln County for sure. Dwight LeBaron Parham checking in from Carrollton. Go Trojans. Big win for Carrollton. Obviously, that is the upset of the night. I would say Carrollton over Grayson, the upset of the night. A quick or a very close second is Marist knocking off North Oconee. Defending state champions. It looked like North Oconee. They were undefeated. They hadn't lost a game in 2 years. It looked like North Oconee was going to be cruising to another state title when that's not the case. So Alan Chadwick, head coach for Marist, I think he is the longest tenured coach in the state of Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. But let me ask you guys this. Marist still runs the wing T, triple option, don't they? You guys have heard what I've been saying about every Friday night, haven't you? Jeff Herron, one of the greatest coaches in the state, said, if you don't have more talent than the other guys, you do something different. And that's what Alan Chadwick does. He runs that wing T. What are they, 5A, 6A? He runs that wing T. No, what's Marist now, 4A? I can't keep up. Still, it's big boy football. Nobody runs the wing T. Nobody practices against it. That's why it's so different. It's so crazy. It's so funky. And so that's, and plus Marist, obviously, those are good, disciplined, well-trained athletes, well-coached athletes. That means a lot. Just a great program. Reminds me of that Marist Thomas County Central game a couple of years ago. What was it, like 14-7 or something? I mean, so look out for Marist. That is a huge win over North County tonight. Jason Jones, what's up, Jason? Dwight LeBaron Parham. So is Carrollton number one in the country now? Well, not exactly. I mean, that's not the way it works. I know what a lot of people say that. Carrollton is going to be obviously have an argument for one of the let me ask you this. Where was Carrollton in the national top 10? Or whatever. Where were they? It's kind of hard to jump, from wherever you were unless you're number 2. Now, if Carrollton was number 2, yeah, they'd be number 1. But see, that's not how this works. A lot of people think that. Well, we beat the number 1 team, so then we're number 1. Not really. But it's a great win. Don't get me wrong. Dave Pollard, Hurd County wins on a field goal with 2 seconds left. Man, what great games tonight. Thanks for that, Dave. Cora Hall, Fitzgerald got robbed of their game. Those refs need to be shamed. Darn refs. Michaela Smith, Early County Bobcats with that win tonight. That's a great win for Early County. Dwight LeBaron Parham. Y'all didn't give Carrollton a chance, but the best team won. Okay, now who are you talking about? Okay, let me say something real quick. Okay, you're right. I did not pick Carrollton to win. Partly because Grayson was the favorite. Grayson was the number 1 team. So you're right. I did not give them a chance to win. I won't say I gave them a chance, but I didn't pick them to win. So you guys that come in here, man, after the fact, hindsight's 20/20. Yeah, look what I told you. Come on, man. Come on. That's easy. That's easy picking. That's cherry picking. Don't do that. You didn't tell me nothing, man. You didn't know that game was going to go that way. All right, Fired Football Coaches of Georgia. Man, love y'all's site, guys. You do a great job. You guys have been doing a great job keeping up with us with this Gainesville Hughes thing. What's up? Would love to see if this were Larry Campbell's Lincoln County instead of Gainesville, how the GHSA would handle it. I think we know, but still funny to consider. That is a great point. That is a great point, and let me just tell you what Fired Football Coaches of Georgia is kind of implying there, and you're not wrong. I don't think it's any secret that there's probably any love loss, and I'm trying to think how to word this. I like the job that that Gainesville's coach has done. I'm just not sure everybody's a big fan of him. And I mean, look, he's a I like him. I like him. He's a good Christian guy. He's made some people mad for various reasons. A lot of people do not like winners. But I know what Fired Football Coaches of Georgia is saying. I think Larry Campbell, I mentioned Alan Chadwick. Those coaches have, I think a part of it is the flamboyancy, okay? Niblett. Coach Niblett, he's flamboyant. He's in shape, okay? He can strut around. Cause you know what, by golly, he's got the abs. He's got the muscular build. He's cocky, and he's a winner. And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like that. Yeah, I like the guy. But I can understand why some people don't like that, okay? I get it. So I understand where Fired Football Coaches of Georgia is coming from. with, the Alan Chadwicks and the Larry Campbells, the Jeff Herons are one style of coach. I think y'all would agree. And then you got Coach Niblett is kind of in a little bit more, he's more like, and I'm not comparing him to Rush, don't get me wrong, although Niblett did succeed Rush at Hoover, by the way. But that's the only parallel I'm drawing. They're just, there's some coaches that are flamboyant or boisterous or outgoing, and that's all I'm saying. So that's all I'm saying. All right, fired football coaches of Georgia comes back with the GHSA has allowed Gainesville to operate this way. So it's the devil they created in some ways or allowed to create. That's fair. That's fair. David Woods, good season. Grayson, still proud of this team, and we will be back next year. Listen, man, the higher you go, the thinner the air gets, if you understand what I'm saying. And I have said this, I think I was telling Larry Godwin, we had lunch earlier this week. The more you win, the longer you win without getting beat, the bigger the odds stack up against you. Kind of reminds me of New England that year. They went, 16-0 or 17-0, and then they lost their only game of the year in the Super Bowl. Now, that's the National Football League, the absolute best of the best football players in the world. But no matter what division, league, what level you're talking about, the longer you win, the harder it becomes to stay on top. Especially when you get into the playoffs and the competition gets tougher and tougher and tougher. And, North Oconee found that out. Grayson found that out tonight. That's two teams that I really didn't expect to lose, but they did. Again, higher you go, thinner the air gets. And it's harder to breathe. The higher you go, the longer you go without losing. And, those odds just continue to buck against you. And I think that's what happened in both those cases tonight with Grayson and with North Oconee. Dwight LaBarn Parham. I still enjoy the show, and thanks for giving the prompts when they are due. You are fair in your viewpoints. Much respect. Well, thank you for that, Dwight. I really appreciate that, buddy. I really do. Stephen K. Wynn. What's up, Stephen? Hughes and Rome have become collateral in this GHSA and Gainesville fallout. Yeah, it's a shame. Well, again, we're just going to have to kind of, and by the way, guys, we're keeping up with this thing literally. I mean, I'm checking all the contacts that I have everywhere, all over the state, and as soon as something happens, ITG Next will be one of the first to be on top of it and break it. All right, let me see here. Daniel Tinajero. Hope I'm saying that right. Clinch on top. Boy, Jim Dickerson's a great coach, isn't he? What a great coach he is. Love MJ. Carver, Atlanta 20. America Sumter 39. Oh, man, I hate it when we say the lower score first. I violated one of my own rules there. Nadir Muse Muhammad. Looks like it wasn't the year of the repeat. You're right. You're right. I kept saying that was going to be. I thought it was going to be the year of the repeat. I said that way back in the preseason because I thought North Oconee was going to repeat. I thought Carver Columbus was going to repeat. And I still think they will. I thought Grayson was going to repeat. But you know what? That's what made Georgia high school football so great, doesn't it? Incredible. What an incredible night, guys. One of the best nights I can remember for the parity of Georgia high school football. This is it. This is it. What a night. I mean, if you don't love this, I mean, come on. Go Dog 65. What's up, brother? Froze my rear end off and shouted my cell horse. Go Rams. I hear you, big guy. Man, it was cold out there tonight. I don't care where you were in the state. It was cold. Stephen Little. Buford not built to win down here. Now, that's interesting, Stephen. Now, what do you mean by that? That's interesting. When's the last time Buford went on the road in a playoff game? And I'm not being a smart aleck. I just don't know. Mystic Newton. Thomas County Central High, number 1. Okay, so let me say this. So we've been talking about Carver Columbus, how we think they're the best team in the state. To me, guys, and there's 2 or 3 ultimate dream matchups. And I think that one of those is Thomas County Central and Carver Columbus. Man, wouldn't you love to see those two teams get together? That's one of my dream matchups. Carver Columbus, Thomas County Central. I think Buford Valdosta is going to be a good one. I'd like to see Buford and now Carrollton. But we'll see. Freddie Smith, how about them Valdosta High Wildcats? Man, great win. It's a great win tonight. Great win. I will say Valdosta's have and again, it's like Jeff Herron and Rush Probst told me, if you are if you're a Region 1-6A team, meaning if you are from South Georgia, the only way you're going to stand a chance to try to win this highest classification in the state, which has been a long time since anybody did it. Rush Probst's Colquitt County Packers was the last time. Before that, it was Jeff Herron's Camden County Wildcats. Before that, it was Randy McPherson's Lowndes High Vikings. But Jeff Herron and Rush both said, you got to do something different. You got to do something different, and you've got to win your region. And that is one of the keys that Valdosta has done. They won Region 1-6A, and they have had, and look, I'm not criticizing. I don't want anybody to say, well, Phil's out there saying Valdosta's got any. It has been. And that's, again, to the victor go the spoils. You win your region. That's exactly what Jeff Herron was talking about. You got to win your region. You win your region, you have an easier draw. You get to stay at home. You're going to play the 4 seed, and that's what Valdosta did in the first round. They did that tonight, because Walton had upset McEachern. And then Valdosta last week beat who, and I can't remember who it was and what seed they were, but you get my point. That's all I'm saying. Now, things will get exponentially tougher next week for Valdosta. Buford going to come to town, but I tell you, the great equalizer is Buford doing something, getting Buford out of their comfort zone. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a great game. Yes, Greg Maddox. North Gwinnett did win tonight. It was a little closer than most of us were expecting, but they did win. Creekside and Benedictine going to be a battle for the 4A title. As big a win as that was tonight for Benedictine and Danny Britt. Okay, so there's another team, Creekside. There are some teams that are really emerging as just absolutely dominant. And right now, it's looking like Carver, Columbus, Thomas County Central, Worth County, and Creekside. Right now, those 4 teams are looking awfully tough. Not saying they're unbeatable, because tonight kind of proved a little bit of everything. By the way, how about a big win tonight for Roswell? My man, Jonathan Thompson. Coach of the Year. For the job he's done at Roswell. Former offensive coordinator for Lee County. Brings that same high power, high octane tempo style of offense to Roswell this year. Had a great quarterback, Trey Smith, to run this offense, and all that combination has paid off tonight. It's paid off all year for Roswell. They get it done tonight, and they get it done all year. Roswell going to move to the semifinals. Yes, Stephen, you're right. Toombs County is on part of repeat. I think Bowden had a couple of losses this year. In fact, they started off the year 0-2. And so but I think Bowden, I love Rich Finley, man. Great guy. Yeah, Rich Finley called me the other day. It just goes to show you what kind of guy he is. I had called Rich Finley about something. I wanted to interview him, and that was like a couple of weeks ago. Now, here's the guy. Thanksgiving week, got the biggest game of the year, and Rich Finley calls me. It was on like Monday. Hey, Phil, Rich Finley here. Man, I'm so sorry. I forgot to call you the other day. And who's going to do that? What coach is going to do that? I'm talking about the powerhouse coaches. It just shows you the quality Rich Finley is. I love that guy, man. Yeah, just some coaches I have all the respect in the world for. Jeff Herron's that same way. Yeah. Not a contentious bone in either of those guys' body. Yeah, West Lawrence, Kedra Shea. Did West Lawrence win tonight? And how many yards? By the way, guys, please give me some top performer candidates tonight. And hey, that goes for you Valdosta Wildcats. I ask for top performer candidates all the time. Okay, and I get it. I get to hear from you guys. Well, you big Valdosta. If you'll give me their name and some adequate stats, I will certainly consider them. I think our Buford kicker is going to be up for another week of being a top performer from special teams. I know he accounted for the first 9 points of the night tonight for Buford. That was according to Kerry Claiborne, and they were long field goals too. So Ashley Barker Johnson, we are excited to come to South Georgia. Now Ashley, so you're a Buford fan, is that right? We're glad to have you. Freddie Smith, Buford tough. Just hope we can take care of business. Yep. How's it going, brother? And it was a stressful game for Worth County. What's up, Dev? Let's see here. A.B. Brown, Phil, Cairo center cost him the game with bad snaps. Really? Man, really? I hate to hear that, young man. Wow. Okay, so Bowden over Jenkins tonight, 49-22. Big win for the aforementioned Rich Finley and Bowden. Kenneth Hurst, what's up, Kenneth? TCC, just another day at the office, wasn't it? So Nadir Muse Muhammad is asking, 8 classifications. How many South Georgia teams do you believe will win state? All right, so I got to think about that. You got to give me a second. Nicole South Jeter. Is it Jeter or Jeter? I'm going to say Jeter. Nicole South Jeter. Bowden loses. Bowden losses were to Fellowship Christian and Heard County by 1 point. Both semifinal teams in higher classifications. Bowden offensive stout. That's a great call. Great call, Nicole. Boom. Great call. That's the way to put things into perspective. Good job. I remember they did start with a couple of losses, but if I'm not mistaken, hadn't Bowden lost the first game in the last 3 years? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Stephen K. Wynn, Phil, your thoughts on Benedictine's 80-point performance tonight? Oh, that's a rarity for Benedictine. Obviously, they were just clicking on all cylinders tonight. But you know what? I mentioned it earlier. Benedictine has got a little history of doing this in some select postseason games in their history. Bowden's Caden Prothro set the Georgia receiving touchdown record. Okay, I got to get him for sure. And that's another thing. Rich Finley always gives me a couple of players for his top performers. I'm always getting criticized for that, like somebody criticized me for, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't want to go there. All I'm saying is give me a player or two, give me their stats, and look, if they are a good nominee, I'm going to put them in for top performer. All right, we got a couple of Buford boys here back to back. Kerry Claiborne, Dylan McCoy, Buford tailback over 100 yards, including a 75-yarder late in the game to put Douglas County night. I love it. All right, Luke Nelson, Cam Wood from Carrollton is your top performer, 23, 173, 7.5 a carry. Yep, there you go. Good job, Luke Nelson. Appreciate that, buddy. Cam Wood, 23, 173, 7.5. 3 TDs. Appreciate that, Luke. Brooks Carter, Early County quarterback Evan Grist had a 77-yard touchdown run and I believe a 49-yard touchdown pass to Jamon Jones. The running back DJ Lee has the other 2 rushing touchdowns. Early County also had 2 interceptions by the Lindsay kid. Ooh, I like that. Look, I love special teams. I love defensive guys because the offensive guys get all the love, which they should. But I love these guys that get these pick sixes and 2-3 interceptions a game. Against offensive, defensive, and special teams. Keep them coming, guys. I love it. Nicole South Jeter. Gaden Prothro had 4 touchdowns. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. See, on my top performers, the very top line is overall. That's the guy who does it offensively, defensively, special teams, just like Caden Prothro did tonight. 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and a partridge in a pear tree. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. All right, 4 touchdowns. Oh, wait a minute. This just in. Gainesville Hughes is nothing. Okay. All right. So Caden Prothro. I like that. Well, what a night. 4 touchdowns. 2 INTs. Hey, Nicole South Jeter, though, am I kidding about Rich Finley? Is he not a stand-up guy? Humble man. And, I keep telling people this. They're going for 4 state championships in a row. 4. I was just talking earlier about Eagles Landing Christian Academy. I think they had 5. And I'm not sure if that's the state, if that's the state record. I don't know. If somebody else can help me with that, I'd appreciate it. But what's the state record for most consecutive state championships won by any team, any level? I know ELCA, I think, had either 5 or 6. Obviously, Bowden going for 4 in a row. I don't care what level you play at, that is hard to do. Winning 1 state championship is hard to do. Rhonda Williams Carter, Cassandra Evans, don't know what that means. Stephen K. Wynn, Kerry Claiborne, and Luke Nelson. One of you need to bring Phil a Lego model of I like it. I love it. I love it. Larry Pope, Valdosta win 45-4. Oh, is it what? Larry, did they let that get 45-42 tonight? Oh my gosh. Is it final? Gosh, Valdosta better hope so. So, Larry, I'm talking about this. I was over there. I was at the game earlier. I mean, very early. I had to help our videographer get in. And I watched the first drive of the game. Valdosta got the opening kick and just went right down the field on Walton. And I thought, okay, this may not be very close. Walton coaches were giving me a kind of a hard time. Not really. They said, hey, man, we saw your pick. And they laughed and giggled, and I'm like, and I ran. But anyway, I picked Walton to lose pretty bad. But you know what? That's amazing, Larry Pope, that Valdosta had to hang on to win 45-42. I knew they were up 17-0. In fact, I think that was the score one time I gave Kerry Claiborne. And I thought then, wow, 45-28, and it got back to 45-42. Look, and I get it. Valdosta, they've been killing everybody, and it's easy. Larry, do you think that Valdosta had a little bit of licking ahead in them tonight? I was worried about that, to be honest with you, because I think everybody to a man thought that Buford was going to handle Douglas County. And then now that game was only 9-0 at the half, but Buford is Buford. But I was just wondering if Valdosta, Larry, and you Valdosta fans can tell me what you think about this. You think Valdosta, because look, we know they were a better team than Walton, but you know what? Congratulations for Walton. They had a great run. That's a good run for a 4 seed, to come down to Valdosta and make it 45-42 against a good Valdosta team. But I'm just wondering if Valdosta had a little bit of a look 'em ahead in them tonight. Which, look, I get it. I'm not being critical. And that's easy to do. Man, we're going to win this game. We got Buford coming to town next week. I don't blame those young men for being jacked up. But anyway, they do hold on. So Larry... All right, James Raymer, 45-42. That is final. Larry said, Larry Godwin, Valdosta does a quick kick on 4th and 13. They kick off the back of a Valdosta player. It's picked up by Walton for a scoop and score. 45-42, 14 seconds left, and the dang... What, does NFHS shut off at 11? What? Boo. I want a refund. Larry, I did not know that. Larry Godwin I'm talking about. Larry Pope. Yep, they did sloppy play by Valdosta. It's finally final. Thanks, Larry. So Larry Godwin, Larry Pope, anybody else? Larry, you're right. It was not supposed to be that close. I had predicted 45-14, by the way, Valdosta. So what do you think? And be honest with me, Larry, and Larry. Be honest with me. What do you think is going to happen next week, Buford, Valdosta? Now, don't be a homer. Don't go homer on me. Be honest with me. Now, if you think Valdosta is really going to win, let me know. I've been saying this tonight, earlier. I think it being in Valdosta is a huge, huge benefit for Valdosta. I think it may mean 7 to 10 points difference. Now, is that still enough to beat Buford? I don't know. But we'd love to hear what you guys think about Valdosta Buford. That's a generational type game. You're talking about probably, look, and I'm not talking about the two best. I'm talking about the two most storied programs in the state of Georgia, if you know what I mean. Valdosta's got all that history, winningest program in the United States of America. But you got Buford, who's kind of considered to be the team in Georgia over the last decade. And I think that's fair to say. Chris A. Sumter over Carver Atlanta. That's a great win for Coach. Is it Coach Rogers? Great win. Valdosta is finalists. It's Stephen K. win. Valdosta, Larry Pope. Valdosta definitely looking ahead. I didn't expect Walton to show this type of fight. Congratulations to them. Yeah, it was a great run. Johnny Holcomb's in the house. Mr. Valdosta walkout. What's up, Johnny? Go Cats. Walton was an extremely gritty team that would not go away. Johnny, I agree with you, and it certainly seems that way. A lot of teams, Johnny, when they get down, especially if you're at Valdosta, nobody's giving you a chance. I didn't give them a chance. And you get down 17-0. They could have easily folded their 10, but they didn't. That is a gritty team, Johnny. You're absolutely right. Johnny Holcomb, Mr. Valdosta walkout. What's up, Johnny? Always love seeing you here in the show, man. By the way, Johnny, we got over that little issue of getting in. You know what I'm talking about. No problem. All right, Larry Pope. They play undisciplined like how they did tonight. They're going to get blown out if they play how they did versus Lowndes. I like Valdosta. That's a great point. That is a great point. I tell you, so when Valdosta played Lowndes, I thought that was their most complete game of the year. I remember, was it the week before that Valdosta struggled with Tift County? And look, Tift County has come a long way. They've come light years under Jeff Littleton. But we know that Tift County has still got a ways to go. But I think, Larry, Johnny, you guys from Valdosta, I think, you look at how Valdosta maybe played down to Tift. They played down tonight to Walton. You're right. They're going to have to come out of that. They're going to have to come out of that funk. And they're going to have to play like they're capable of, like you just said, against Lowndes. So, and I'm going to be honest with you. I think that is what has hurt Valdosta. If they'll come out and put the hammer down, I don't think they got anything to worry about. I think they're a very good football team. And I've been saying that all year. I thought they were the best team in the region this year. Wow. Andy Maxwell, how about that Jefferson game? Jefferson defeats Cairo tonight. That's a big win for sure. Larry Pope, Deron Foster wasn't playing either. Got a couple players beat up. Hopefully they'll be healthy next week. I did not realize Deron Foster was not in there tonight. Did not know that. He means everything to that team. By the way, we got a little secret on the Valdosta quarterback, Tyreek Wade. I've been dropping that hint the last 2 weeks. You guys will find out pretty soon what I'm talking about. Remember, we do our ITG Next annual awards, our annual award banquet, where we recognize the offensive defensive player for just about every school in South Georgia, and then we have the overall offensive player, overall defensive player, overall special teams player. So anyway, be on the lookout for that. We're ready for that. Greg Maddox, I'll be pulling for Valdosta against Beaver for the first time ever. Got a Lowndes High diehard going to actually pull for the Cats. Imagine that. Obadiah Farley. Phil, would you say Sumter over Carver Atlanta is a shocker? Obadiah, I wouldn't call it a shocker. A mild upset is what I'll call it. Mason Middleton. Valdosta by 3 is what he says against Buford. Larry Pope. Valdosta have to stop playing down to their competition, but they know Buford is Buford. They'll be ready. And look, I think that's a great point, Larry. You don't have to get up for Buford. I mean, if they're not up for Buford, something's wrong, and I know they will be. They'll be, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you 100%. Perfect statement. They know Buford is Buford. They'll be ready to play. I'm pretty sure they won't play down to Buford. I mean, yeah, I got you. I agree with that 100%. Jose Padilla is in the house. What's up, Jose? The score indicates something different, but Woodward came in and punched TCC in the mouth. They were controlling the time of possession. Now, I knew that game early. I could have swore I saw, because me and Alan Clanton were talking about this, I could have sworn that I saw Woodward Academy up early in that game. Is that right, guys? Obadiah, Jose, is that right? And then it looks like, I think it was Cole Moore who said that Thomas County Central went on a 42-0 run to end the game. Yeah, here we go. That's right. They went in leading in the second quarter, but after that, it was a tale of two halves. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so that's what I thought. Look, sometimes this is what good teams do. And I think Thomas County Central is one of those teams that can just put their foot on the gas anytime they want, and boom, there they go. And it sounds like what they did tonight. Obadiah Farley says, yep, I agree with that. Caleb Autry, go Jackets, Thomas County Central football. Yeah. I think you guys are you're on your way, man. Really believe that. Andy Maxwell, I think it works out for Valdosta, but that game is in Valdosta. Yeah, you're right. That makes a big difference. I think that's a 7 to 10 point difference. I really do. Stephen K. Wynn, Valdosta will be the underdog. Yeah, they will. Larry Godwin, Valdosta has a shot, but they'll have to play a very disciplined game. Yeah, this is going to be one of those games, and Larry's the rest of his comments. Buford's fun defense is going to be very strong. So it'll come down to Valdosta's passing game, which can get hot at times. Yes, Buford will have to open up the offensive game plan against Valdosta's defense. If Valdosta keeps this close going into the fourth quarter, the Cats can win. I agree with that. Wow, Woodward was up 19-7 in that game versus TCC. That's what I thought I saw. Unbelievable. So see, but that's the deal with TCC. Yeah, there's some teams that they're just pretty comfortable, and we got this. You know, like I said, we just get ready to turn it up a notch or two when we get ready to. Boom, no problems. Like flipping a switch. Michael Ward, Creekside only scored. Oh my gosh, what? Creekside only scored 35 points tonight. They usually do that in a quarter. They usually score 80 a game. I mean, I've been having fun with that. Not real fun, but they have. I mean, they're beating up people like 70, 90, 95. Let's put 110 on them. So only 35. You're right, Michael. Somebody's going to be studying. Whoever Creekside's got next week going to be studying the Lithonia defensive coordinator's game plan. I got you. Coach Price, Sumter beat Carver, Atlanta. Yes, they did. It's a great win for Sumter. That right there is one of the biggest wins for Sumter. Guys, remember. Now, we're talking about how good Carver Columbus is, and they are. There's no doubt about that. Carver Columbus is stout. But now remember, that Carver game, the Sumter Carver Columbus game was 8-7, if I'm not mistaken, right? Ant Evans Jr. What's up, Ant? Hashtag here come the Cats. Yes, great win. This is, the farthest that Valdosta has advanced in the playoffs since when? Been a while. Jose Padilla, quick story. Randy Young, this will be the only second time TC host in the semis every... Wait a minute. This will be only the second time Thomas County Central host in the semis ever. Last time was 86. Okay, so when was it? So the last time they played Roswell, I thought that was a semifinal game. That was a quarterfinal game? When Roswell came to Thomas County Central and beat them? Was that quarterfinal? Okay, so Jamarian Dumas 13 says it was 2016, the last time Valdosta advanced this far to the semis. That was the state championship year, wasn't it? Johnny Holcomb, 2020, when we traveled to Buford. That was Rush's year. I remember that. I remember where I was watching that game. I got good settled down. I got ready for the game. You know, I was buddies with Rush. Was real psyched up for it. I got sat down, and it was boom, boom. Buford come out with like 2 touchdowns right off the gate. I was like, dadgummit. All right, Kerry Claiborne, who is Kerry is always making fun of my pronunciation of things. Yes. Lithonia. Lithonia. Okay, I got you. Lithonia. Where's Loganville? Where's Lithonia? No, Lithonia. I'm coming to see you, honey. All right. Evan Reese. Last Roswell TCC game was quarterfinal. Okay, I got it. Trey Richardson. Valdosta looked sloppy tonight. So there's a couple of people talking about Valdosta looking sloppy tonight. And again, I think this may be just Valdosta looking ahead to Beaufort. I think that's all it is. By the way, plenty of parking at Valdosta. You won't have a problem. You've got the parking lot on the west side of the stadium. It's actually the VSU parking lot. But there's probably, I don't know, 2,000 spots in there to park. So you got plenty of parking. Will not be a problem. James Raymer, Texas gifts Georgia a trip to the Benz by beating Texas A&M 27-17. Okay, so what are you saying? Is that SEC championship game? Is that what you're talking about? Stephen K. Wynn, that was the quarterfinals. Roswell lost in overtime to Gainesville in the semifinals. Got you, buddy. Kerry Claiborne, Beaufort played road playoff games in 23. We won at Norcross, then lost in the quarterfinals at Grayson. Got you. Nadir Muse Muhammad, 8 classifications. How many South Georgia teams will win state? My prediction are all classifications. Hebron Christian. Wow. Hebron Christian, so that's not a South Georgia team. Clinch is. Hurd not. Sumter is. Jefferson not. Marist not. Langston Hughes not. Beaufort not. So you got 2 South Georgia teams winning it out of the 8 classifications. I got you. Stephen K. Wynn, Texas with the upset over Texas A&M. So I'll be honest with you, I haven't followed college football a lot this year. I was listening to the Georgia Yek game tonight while I was waiting to go into the Valdosta game. And, Georgia, I tell you, has played a great schedule, hard schedule this year. Anna, what's going on? Anna says, regarding Valdosta, remember what Rush Probst and Jeff Herron said about what it would take for a South Georgia team to win a state title? I do. Valdosta won the region and will have the home field advantage for 4 rounds in the playoffs. Absolutely, Anna. And I have mentioned that a couple of different times. That is the key. Jeff Herron, Rush Probst both said, what is the key for a Class 6A team from South Georgia, i.e. Region 1 6A team going deep in the playoffs? You got to win your region. Well, Valdosta has done that, and they have had one of the easiest draws in 6A, and that's not a knock. It's just that's what happens when you win your region. You know, that's the benefit. You know, you don't have to worry about pulling an upset. You don't have to worry about going on the road. You get 4 seeds. So Valdosta obviously winning the region, you had a 4 seed to start with, whoever that was. I can't remember. Tonight, Walton was a 4 seed. So first round, second round, quarterfinal. So at least 2 of the 3 teams so far have been 4 seeds. And I can't remember who that second round team was. Somebody help me out. Who was that? I don't know. Anyway, but Anna's right. That's right. You win your region, and it means everything, especially when you're a Region 1 6A team. Valdosta is going to have the chance to do something that really, I don't know, I guess the last Valdosta team in Rush was the coach. It will have a chance to come close. You got to win your region, or you got to be different. Again, that's why Jeff Herron won the state with all those wing T triple option teams. Nobody runs that in 6A. Remember, Jeff Herron came back and did it, 2-3 years ago. Didn't have the best team. That's what Herron says. If you don't have the best talent, do something different. Or you win your region. So, it's kind of a combination of things. Appreciate that, Anna. Jose Badilla, Rome still waiting on an opponent, Phil. Yes, they are. What an amazing thing this is, isn't it, guys? Can you believe this? And they're saying that this thing may not be fixed anytime soon. It may not be next week. What's going to happen? The saving grace you got is you got You got 10 days between the semifinal game, and this is in 5A. So you've got, I can't remember what the dates are, but trust me, it's 10 days from the 5A semifinal game, whomever that's going to be. And you've got 10 days until that game and the Class 5A state championship game, which I think is on Tuesday, December 16th, but don't hold me to that. But it is 10 days. So there's a chance, there's a little bit of wiggle room. That may be what the GHSA is counting on. I don't know, but it's a mess. And it's a shame. Jamarian Dumas 13, Brookwoods. That's right, thank you. Well, Brookwood was what seed were they out of their region? Jamarian Dumas 13. Yes, Valdosta is getting a home game. They'll play at home next week. They'll host Buford. Jamarian Dumas 13. Jose Medina, yeah, it does affect 5A, all of 5A. Yeah, you're right. And again, I wrote a story about that today, guys. Check it out if you get a chance at our ITG Next website. And I believe it's on our Facebook pages too. Kerry Claiborne, winning your region will be less important next year. Winning your region will only guarantee you a 1-16 seed. Yeah, you're right. You're right. A 1-16 seed in the new ranking system beginning next year. If the playoff ranking system were being used this year, Valdosta will be coming to Buford next Friday. Good call. So Kerry Claiborne says Brookwood was a 2 seed. Okay, so there you go. So that was that was the outlier. So Valdosta has played 2 4 seeds and a 2 seed. So you split the difference there. Obviously, they had the odds in their favor. T.J. Allen, T.J. Max says, "Go Cats." Yes, TJ, it was cold tonight. Very cold. Larry Godwin, I bet there's as much political pressure on all the parties behind the scenes, including the courts, to wrap this up soon. It's giving Georgia a black eye. Yeah. Jose Medina. Look, Phil, I'd like to introduce Ed Water, who's new to the show. Also a TCC fan. I think he is a BE viewer. I don't know what that means. But welcome in, Eduardo. Eduardo, welcome to the show, brother. I hope you'll stay with us. Let's see, we'll do this next Friday. And next Friday after that. So we got about 3 weeks left. Taurus S. Daniels. How about them Mighty Panthers? Which ones? Ain't there a bunch of Panthers still playing? Anyway, Jose, where's Eduardo at? Chandler Moore, what do you think of Pepperell? Well, let me make sure we spell it right. Somebody gave us a hard time today about how we spelled Pepperell. And somebody asked Anna, do you not know how to spell Pepperell? And she said something like, I don't know. It was a funny exchange. So wait a minute, let's see here. Now there's Eduardo. What's up, Eduardo Rodriguez? What's up? Yes, go Yellow Jackets. Welcome to the show, brother. Glad to have you. Johnny Holcomb. Walton was not playing like a 4 seed. Quarterback is an athlete. I got you. You're right. Very well coached on special teams with a lot of trickery on special teams. I got you. Yeah, listen, just because the team is a 4 seed doesn't mean they play like a 4 seed. I'm with you. And look, it wasn't really any malice intended there. Just you are what you are, though. If you're a 4 seed, you got to go on the road. And for Walton, that was a long trip. But you know what? They got that big win at McEachern, man. Big feather in their cap. Taurus S. Daniels, Clinch County, baby. Roll, Red, roll. I'm with you. Michael Ward, the world as we know it is coming to an end. I love it. That's the quote of the night. I watched Grayson get beat by 20 points. Wow. Man. Guys, I'm telling you, the longer you win, the longer you go and win and win and win, it just becomes it becomes harder and harder and harder to keep that up. And at some point, it's like a house of cards, man. It's going to come crashing down. Just the key is to know when it's going to happen, though. I mean, obviously, I know that's the obvious speaking, but The longer you keep winning, the harder it is to keep that up. So, Pepperell, P-E-P-P-E-S. That's like Mississippi. My gosh. I mean, come on. But congratulations, Pepperell. You won. I promise we'll get it right next time. That was the funniest exchange I have seen in a long time. All right, Jose Padilla. Okay, you're right. How many Panthers are there? Somebody said about them Panthers. Which one are you talking about? You got Sumter, Clinch, Hughes, Tift area, Carolina. Michael Ward, I love that. The world as we know it is coming to an end. I watched Grayson get beat by 20 points. That's fantastic. Chandler Moore asking as a Worth County fan. LOL. What's your question? I think Worth County is going to win. I think Worth County's going to win a state championship. Did we include them in those? Was that Muhammad's giving us the question about the South Georgia team that was going to win the state championship? I think Worth County is going to win it. Jamarian Dumas 13. Do you think we'll win? Valdosta Buford. I really don't know yet. I gotta let it percolate. I gotta process that. Right now, my early pick is Buford, but that could change. Marquise Parks, Lincoln County. Yes, Lincoln County. Boy, this is really going to upend our top 25, too, by the way. That's going to really change things in our top 25. By the way, we ranked the top 25 teams in the entire state. And boy, Grayson is about to tumble. Lincoln County versus Early County. Probably got to go with Lincoln County in that one. Who's the head coach now at Early County, by the way? I know it was Joe Harvin for a while, but he left. All right, it's 11:28, guys. We go to midnight tonight. What do y'all think about the scores? Mitchell Darmody, what's up, Mitch? Hey, Phil, Buford, Valdosta game in Valdosta, or Buford is going to be in Valdosta. I haven't seen, has anybody seen a long-range forecast? I think the weather, this is just kind of a cold snap that we're in right now. I don't think this is going to last, is it? I think the weather next Friday is supposed to be kind of mild. Not that I think it'd make a difference, but just curious. All right, by the way, Phil's pick six. How did Phil do in his pick six tonight? Phil, let's see. So, Thomas County Central and Woodward Academy, I predicted 48-14. The final score was 49-19. Pretty close. Roswell Sequoia, I predicted, let me make sure I got this right. I predicted 40-31, final score 42-35. So, pretty close again. Grayson Carrollton, I missed that one. North Gwinnett, West Forsyth, I predicted North Gwinnett 38-15. What was the final in that one? What was the final in North Gwinnett, West Forsyth? I predicted North Gwinnett 38-15. Buford 42-21 over Douglas. That was a little bit tighter than that, I think. By the way, a little treat. So next week, going to pick every one of the semifinal games. We're going to pick all 16 of them. So instead of just trying to pick 6 of them, we're going to pick them all. That's something I don't think we've ever done before. Ant Evans Jr. Adam Ant Evans Jr. Valdosta hasn't lost a home game in 3 years. Wow, that's the stat of the night. How about that? Good call, bro. Holy moly. Really? Are you sure about that? I'm not questioning you necessarily. I'm more surprised than anything. Again, if you say it, I believe it. Mitchell Dormany, doing good, Phil. Gainesville game got canceled completely. So it's Rome, Langston Hughes, right? Well, no. It's going to be Rome and somebody. We don't know. So Mitchell, the Langston Hughes Gainesville game is kind of in suspension right now. It's just kind of out there. It's just kind of hanging out there. It's almost like it's just not real. You know what I mean? It's just like there. We can see it, but it's just not real. You know what I mean? It's like a UFO. Somebody's going to prove it. Somebody's going to say this is going to happen, but right now we just don't know. All right. Junior Toomer. How about them Rams? Man, I tell you, them Rams are just something else. What another great performance. You know, they find a way to get it done, don't they? I think Jeff Hammond, again, Coach of the Year. Greg Maddux, Hall of Fame pitcher with us. High of 64. This is next Friday. Got you. Greg says high of 64 and low of 49 in Valdosta next Friday. Good call, Greg. Jose Padilla. Yeah, same for TCC. Last loss at home was 2022. Wow. Man, I tell you, that Valdosta, and well, that one too. And Jose, I guess that 2022 loss was the one against Roswell, right? Man, that is huge. See, it just really kind of underscores what I'm saying. That Buford game coming to Valdosta instead of being at Buford, that's worth 10 points, in my opinion. At least a touchdown. I'm going to say between 7 and 10 points. I think that's what that game is worth, being at Bazemore Hunter Stadium versus being at Philip Beard Stadium at Buford, or whatever they call it. Mitchell Dorman, got to be played because that's going to mess up Final Four. Yeah, you would think. I hear you, Mitchell. But right now it does not look promising. I was just kind of being funny earlier, but it really is. There's no. We just don't know. You would think. You're right, Mitchell. You would think that it's got to be played, but right now there's no light at the end of the tunnel, man. I suspect Monday, okay, when everybody gets back off the Thanksgiving holiday thing, I think Monday we're probably going to get some semblance of a better idea of where we're at. I think you're going to start. There's going to be some pressure applied. The Georgia legislature, somebody's going to put the hammer down and said, okay, enough is enough. Get this thing scheduled. Because, like you said, it's not just Gainesville and Hughes that's out there. Imagine those guys didn't play tonight. They should have played. We should be talking about one of those teams moving on to the semifinals, and they're just both in limbo right now. It's not fair. It's not fair to either one of them. That's crazy. Just crazy. Asinine. All right, Chandler Moore, what's your pick between Langston Hughes and Gainesville whenever they decide to play it? I'm probably going to go with Hughes. And let me tell you why. I think Hughes may be a little bit better team. And look, I've been wrong on Hughes. I was wrong to start the year. You know, had a couple of our friends, Darius Kirksey, big Hughes fan, was on me and said, "Boy, you don't know what you're talking about." And I guess he was right. I just thought Hughes had lost too much talent, but I was wrong. So, and I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. But I still think Hughes is a little bit better team. And I'll tell you what else, Chandler. I think all this distraction with Gainesville, let me say this. It's probably a good thing that they did not play tonight, because I think this whole week with Gainesville has been about appeals, distractions, injunctions, fights, instead of practicing football. I'm not saying they haven't been practicing football. That's not what I'm saying. But they've had all kinds of different distractions. And you've already got the pressure of getting ready for a quarterfinal game. So, they got to get all these distractions behind them. And they got to get the mental aspect. You got to get the mental part of it right. You've got to get your focus. Yeah, think about the football season. I'll get about y'all's comments in a minute. think about the football season. You get into a repetition. You get into a rhythm. You get into a schedule. You get into we play, we practice, we eat, we play, we practice, we sleep, we eat, and it's pretty rhythmic. And right now, all of that's been thrown off par. All that's been just thrown out of kilter. And I think that has an effect. Now, it's going to have kind of an effect on Hugh somewhat. Because now they're getting thrown into the fray. Jordan Duke. What the heck happened to Brooks? I thought they were going to win. I did too. It happens. CJ Lane. Cook Hornets checking in. What's up, CJ? Hey, my man. How are you, buddy? Good to see you, man. CJ Lane, Cook Hornets checking in. Congratulations to all the team advanced to the semifinals, especially all South Georgia teams advancing. And as far as our program, we got to do some deep soul searching this offseason. Yeah. Yes, I don't know. I love Byron Slack. I think he's the right guy. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Let me say this, CJ. I think you guys looking losing Jackson Dean. I think you guys that hurt more than you know. And a lot of people have said that would. He was a big part of that team. And I got to tell you, and listen, this is no knock on the current OC. That's not what I mean. But obviously, Jackson Dean showed his amazing talents with what he did at Berrien. Do you guys understand how hard a job, a place that is to win? Berrien. That's why many coaches go there and fail. Well, Jackson Dean went there, excuse me, and he did quite a job. I mean, he goes up and knocks off Lamar County. It was number 2 against number 31 or whatever. That's impossible. But he made it happen. But on the flip side, I remember being at the Cook-Valdosta scrimmage way back in the preseason. And I understand it was Valdosta and Cook, and that's not apples to apples, but Cook's offense just looked bad. And that trend kind of continued all year. They had some exceptions, but so that they got to get that figured out. I think got to get some things figured out for sure. CJ Lane, do you agree with that? Jose Padilla, help me out here. South Georgia team still moving TCC, Valdosta, Clinton, Sumter, Worth County. Yep, I think that's it. I do believe that is it. Guys, if you're watching the show, don't be bashful. Check in. Well, you got a question? Again, looking at some of these games tonight, in case you missed it, Grayson was the number 1 ranked team in the United States of America. And they go down hard to Carrollton. Carrollton could be on their way. I have been as harsh as anybody on Carrollton, having this great team every year, and Joy King not being able to bring it home. But this is a tremendous win for that program. Takes a major step forward. Now, they've still got a big step to go. But, there are some people thinking that Grayson was the top team in the state. Well, now Carrollton kind of takes that over, at least in 6A. So, here we are. We're down to Carrollton, Buford, Valdosta, and who's the 4th team? Worth Gwinnett. How about that? Love it. Okay, Jose Padilla. Nicole South Jeter. West Georgia with 3 teams in the semifinals. Good football in our area. Nicole, funny you say that. We at ITG Next, all myself, Anna, Mark, we talked about that on Tuesday. And I've actually brought that up a couple of weeks back. But we all talked about it as a group on Tuesday, and I'm going to write a story about this. You've got Carroll County, and for those of you out there that don't know what I'm talking about, and Nicole kind of brought this up. So I brought this up a couple of weeks back. I said, Carroll County has got Bowden, Carrollton, and Central Carroll. I know Central Carroll got beat tonight, but you know what? They've had a really good football team these last few years. Point being, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a county like a Carroll County that's got 3 championship-caliber programs in it. And by the way, is J.R. Harris has still got another year, doesn't he, at Central Carroll? Great quarterback. I've been watching that kid, young man, since he was a freshman. Great player. Caden Prothro, great player that we talked about. He's going to be one of our top performers from Bowden. And then you got Carrollton, take your pick. Who's the young man for Carrollton? Luke Big Buford Nelson gave me, was it Cam Ward? No, Cam, what's his name? For Carrollton. Anyway, Nicole, you make a great point. That's a lot of good football teams there in Carroll County. Katie Falk Sinclair says, go Cats. I hear you. All right, guys, got about 20 minutes left to go here in the show. Boy, this thing is just flown by tonight. That's what happens when we're having fun. Cam Wood, thank you. Cam Wood, big night tonight. He's going to be one of our top performers. By the way, guys, that's one thing I can ask you guys help with. So we name our top 10 performers every week, and I really need your help. It's impossible for me to go out there and try to search for what young men had great games, outstanding games. I got Caden Prothro, Cam Wood. So give me some other great top performers tonight. I need their name and what they did. So if you guys can help me out with that, I'd love to recognize these young men. Field goal kickers, special teamers, kick returns, punt returns. So let me hear from you for sure. Lacey Knowles, how do you feel about Pepperell? P-E-P-P-E-E-R-R. We're just playing. So somebody gave us some slack today about spelling Pepperell. Whatever. M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. How do you feel about Pepperell to go from their season last year to starting out rough this season to making it to the semifinals, beating Raven County? That's a huge win. Big win tonight. To be the underdog, they have showed out. Yes. So, Lacey, so how were they last year? And I'm sorry, I just don't know the history on Pepperell. So indoctrinate me here. So their season last year, how were they? They started out rough this year. So I've got to look into Pepperell, but obviously it sounds like they overcome some odds, right? That's cool. I love stories like that. All right, again, in case you are just joining us, let me see here. I'm trying to see if there's any games that I don't have any answers on. Okay, can you guys update me on the private? I did get Hebron Christian defeating Prince Avenue Christian. I know Greater Atlanta Christian defeated Athens Academy. I'm looking for Whitfield Academy and Calvary Day. And I'm looking for Fellowship Christian and Savannah Christian. If anybody's got anything on those. How about Marist? They knock off North Oconee. They end North Oconee's, 20-something, 25, 26 game winning streak. They end North Oconee's bid to repeat as Class 4A state champions. Calhoun has already been eliminated, so we know that Calhoun's not going to be the 3A state champion. 2A, Carver Columbus, they look every bit the part, like they're on their way. I don't think anybody's going to touch them. Well, you know what? Let me back that up. I guess we're looking at a possibility. Is Carver, Columbus, and Sumter on a? Well, they got to be. I was about to ask if they are on a rematch course. They got to be at some point. There's only 4 teams left, right? But is that going to be next week or what? Let me know about that. So I still think Carver is the team to beat. With apologies to Sumter. But do remember, Sumter was the one team that gave them a really good battle and run for their money earlier. So, all right. North Gwinnett wins over West Forsyth. Buford beats Douglas County. That game was 9-0 at the half. Douglas County come out in the third quarter, cut it to 9-7. But then, like any good team does, Buford, they just pulled away after that. Rome, what was the final in the Rome-Jackson County game? I know Rome wins, but what was that final score, guys? If you don't mind, let me know about that. Woodward Academy loses to Thomas County Central. Woodward Academy led in that game 19-7 and got outscored, 42-0. Incredible. Hughes Gainesville, nada. Postponed. Kell defeats Cartersville and whips them up pretty good. So I would say our big upsets tonight, obviously, the best one is Carrollton Grayson. I'll say the best one. The top upset is Carrollton defeating Grayson. Just looking here. The second biggest upset of the night was Marist defeating North Oconee. That's a big one. All right, James Raymer, Fellowship Christian beats Savannah Christian 45-14. Thank you for that. Okay, so Lacey gives me an update here. Pepperell was 2-8 last season. They started out with 3 losses and 1 win in preseason this year. Came in second in region, lost to Heard County. How about that? Love that story, Lacey. Thank you for updating me on that. I did not know. Now I do. What is Pepperell is the what? And where is Pepperell in Rome? Is that right? Is that where Pepperell is? In it Rome? What's up, Jeffrey Rowland? My man, Jeffrey, I was hoping your Warner Robins Demons was going to make some noise. They look good at the end of the regular season, and then won't. What's up, Jeffrey? Appreciate you, brother. You're a good dude, man. Bowden on their way. They beat Jenkins. Lacey Knowles, yes, Class A Division I, Region 6. I'll be so glad next year when it's just Class A, and we don't have to say Class A Division II, Region 7. No, it's not Region 7. You know what I mean? It'll be all Class A. By the way, in case you guys don't know, we haven't talked a lot about that. So Tuesday, speaking of the good old GHSA, Tuesday they are going to finalize the new regions. Remember, it's new classifications, it's new regions, and all the schedules will be new. So we got a lot of new coming. The playoff format will be new. We're no longer going to do top 4 teams in every region. It's not going to be that way anymore. Every classification will be like we have seen the last couple of years in Class A Division 2. No. Class A Division 1, 2A and 3A, and private. It's going to be power rankings. Like we've been doing the last couple of years in those aforementioned classifications. It's going to be that way for everybody next year. Did you guys know if let's see what it's called. It's called postseason ranking, PSR formula. So they're going to rank teams based on their strength of schedule, win-loss, strength of schedule, your opponent's strength of schedule, and your opponent's strength of schedule. I'm going to take all that into this formula and come up with your power ranking. This year, every single team in Region 1-6A would have made the playoffs. Tift County would have been a playoff team. Camden County would have been a playoff team. And the 4 that did make it. Pretty interesting, isn't it? Jose Padilla, Hornets versus Yellow Jackets, the queen of the queens. Carrollton running backs, fast as I've seen, they got it, I think. Nathan Sloan. Is that the Cam Wood we're talking about? Nathan, is that who he is? Nathan Sloan says TCC is getting tested next. And who does TCC play? Roswell. Yeah. Look, I think this is going to be TCC's toughest game of the year. Again, and by the way, Roswell, for those of you who don't know, I host the Roswell Coaches Show every. When do we do that? Hold on a second. Monday. So on Monday, I will host the Roswell Coaches Show. We've been doing it all year long. Myself and Coach Thompson, we will talk about tonight's win over Sequoia, but we'll also talk about what the game plan is to try to beat Thomas County Central next week. So look for that. Myself, Coach J.T. Thompson, the Roswell Coaches Show right here at ITG Next. And we'll also talk to Worth County head football coach Jeff Hammond on the Worth County Coaches Show right here where you're watching this ITG Next. So you guys make plans to watch that show. By the way, if you're not checking us out on ITG Next, why not? Subscribe to our newsletter. Check us out at itgnext.com. We keep you up to speed on what's happening with high school sports everywhere, all over the state of Georgia. I do a pick six. We rank the top 25 teams. We have all kind of great graphics. Anna Limoges builds the best looking graphics you've ever seen. We've got the best graphics of anybody. They're fun to look at. They're fun to watch and interact with. And we've got a poll up. I think it's still going. How do you feel about the Gainesville-Hughes situation or the Gainesville-GHSA situation? So we have a poll up. Go to itgnext.com and answer the poll. Give us your ideas, your answer, how you feel about it. Give you a chance to sound off a little bit. How about that? And you don't have to use your name. Greg Maddox, TCC over Roswell. Whoa, Greg coming out already, making some picks. What you doing, Greg? Okay, James Raymer. Pepperell High is in Lindale, which is also in Floyd County, just south of Rome. Got you, buddy. I actually lived in Rome for a short period of time. We lived in the Coosa School District. Right there off the Alabama Highway. Boy, that was a long time ago. All right, what time we got? 11:53. We're going to call this the die-hard quarter. The last quarter of the show. That's the last 10 minutes of the show. Because by golly, if you've made it to 11:50, well, it is Thanksgiving, so nobody's got to go to work. Matter of fact, nobody has work today, I'm sure. Michael Ward, and I'm actually reading this on my phone. Michael Ward says the slow start against Woodward Academy should serve as a wake-up call for TCC against Roswell. Yeah, and I think the same thing can be said for Valdosta, in case you guys missed that. Valdosta actually got off to a fast start against Walton, but then bogged down a little bit. Now, again, I think that is because of the Buford, looking ahead to Buford. Valdosta, the team, they probably figured, hey, we got this thing, we got Walton beat. But they relaxed a little bit, and they let Walton climb back into the game. Look, better it happen tonight when you can still do it and win versus happening next week when you let your guard down and let a team like Buford. So you see what I'm saying? So I think they're going to, this is a blessing in disguise. The fact that it happened tonight instead of next week is a good thing. So that's the way you got to look at it, Valdosta fans. Jose Padilla. Those of you who don't know, it'll be a heck of a game, Roswell versus TCC, because the coaching staff know each other pretty well. Yep, Coach J.T. Thompson was the offensive coordinator for Lee under Fabrizio, so we both have seen somewhat of what we run defensively and offensively. That's a good call. Nathan Sloan, thanks, Phil. Go Dogs. I hear you, Nathan. By the way, Georgia beats Georgia Tech. Now, what does that Texas upset of Texas A&M mean? Does that mean Georgia's in the SEC championship game or something? I don't know. Is that what that means? I have no idea. I saw a couple of comments about that earlier. And also, I want to remind everybody, we'll do the show on Monday night at 5:30. Hopefully, my buddy Larry Godwin is going to be checking in with me and doing the show with me. We can make it work. And so I hope you guys will join us Monday at 5:30. We do the show twice a week, 5:30 on Mondays, Friday nights at 10 o'clock. So we're going to have a blast. All right, just trying to see as we wrap things up. Sandy Creek defeated Douglas, the Astros. Not Douglas County, but Douglas County got beat too by Buford. Go Dog 65 says, yes, UJ is in. How about that? Wow, wasn't expecting that, were we? Greg Maddox, who wins tomorrow between FSU and Florida, Bama and Auburn? I think FSU beats Florida. I think Bama beats Auburn. Go Dog 65, opponent to be determined tomorrow. So I guess, so will that be the winner of Auburn, Alabama? Is that right? Is that what you're saying, Go Dog 65? Jose Medina, hey Phil, you must be drinking some Celsius because I'm. No, man, I went to the Valdosta game tonight. Actually, I'm drinking non-carbonated ginger ale. Man, I don't drink those energy drinks anymore. I used to drink 2 Red Bulls when I lived in Atlanta. I would drink 2 Red Bulls every morning. Don't know how I did it. Things will mess up your heart, man. So no, I don't do the caffeine. Only when I drink coffee in the morning. And even then I get it half decaf, half calf. Jeff Brady, roll, red, roll. Absolutely. Go Dog 65. Bama wins and in. Bama loses. Ole Miss in. Got you. Wow. And by the way, what's old Lane Kiffin? Well, he's a nut, ain't he? He's so goofy. Just, I think Florida just kind of backed off of Lane Kiffin, didn't they? It's like, man, you're just so goofy acting. You guys just a goofball. And coach, don't get me wrong, he's done a heck of a job at Ole Miss. But boy, he is a goofball if I've ever seen one. To my Lane Kiffin. All right, guys. I think we're going to call it right there. It's 3 minutes left to go. Yeah, let's go and call it. Thanks so much for being with us tonight, guys. I really do appreciate you. And we had a great crowd tonight. We've been building up the show. Thanks to you guys for all you do. I appreciate all the kind words, and hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. You still get to enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend. Enjoy the football, the fellowship, the family. And, man, what a great Friday night of high school football we had tonight, right? It was unbelievable. Love the talk that we had tonight. Love the conversation. See you guys. Don't forget, again, follow us at ITG Next. You guys will love it. That's all we do is talk high school sports. That's all we do. And we also do a national poll. So you guys will like that. Jose Medina says, yeah, talking about Lane Kiffin. He comes with a lot of sarcasm. Kiffin is goofy. He's a goofball. He's a good coach. But you got to take a little bit of that goofiness with his good X's and O's. All right, guys. Hope you have a great weekend. See you back here on Monday, 5:30. Be sure to join me. See you, Jamari and Dunmas 13.